The multi-million-dollar home gym. So it seems to me that the new cool thing to do on YouTube is to give people a tour of your home gym and tell them how much money you spent on it. I keep seeing these big names, my $300,000 home gym, my $500,000 home gym, my whatever. Yeah, I get it. You have a home gym. That's great. That's cool. And you can show everyone how much money you spent on it. That's great too. It reminds me of Ty Lopez with this is my Lamborghini. So I have a multi-million-dollar home gym. And why is it worth multi-millions? And I won't even put a dollar value on that. Because I said so. Because I think it's worth millions. That's why it's worth millions. Not because that's what I actually spent on it. Now, you can have a multi-million-dollar home gym too. And I'm going to let you in on exactly how and why I think that my home gym's worth $1 million or $500 million for that matter. Screw it, billion. Because the value of something, okay, is really actually quite subjective. I mean, if you buy a baseball card and it cost you $5, but then you get somebody to sign it, suddenly that $5 baseball card's worth $500 because of who signed it, right? So the value of something is really quite subjective. So I'm going to give you guys a tour of my home gym, and then I'm going to explain to you why my home gym is so valuable. Okay, so I'm going to try to not make you dizzy here. First off, back there, we got this Bowflex tread climber thing, right? It's broken. That's why we have it. It's a Bowflex tread climber. It's broken. Someone was getting rid of it. It was like, I'll take it. You can use that, though, for a dead mill. No, it doesn't work. You can't turn it on. You can't actually use it the way it's intended to be used, but you can do dead mill work on it. So that's actually something nice because in Duluth, sometimes it's minus 30 degrees outside. So you can't go for a walk. You can't go for a run. You can't go drag a sled, right? But you can hop on that broken Bowflex there. You can push that along. You can see there's a dumbbell sitting on the floor. We'll get into dumbbells next. Got some Bosu balls over there. I have no idea where they even came from. Whatever. You can use them for, well, I do some pull check stuff once in a while as rehab, and I find that very useful. Paul Check has a ton of free stuff on his channel. You should pay attention to that, and we're going to come back around to that in just a moment. There's an Airdyne. That Airdyne is loud as hell. I would hop on it and make the entire audience deaf. It clanks and makes all kinds of horrid noises. It's a busted up piece of shit, but it works. So someone was getting rid of an Airdyne. We were like, we'll take it. Okay, let's continue. I got some foam rollers over there. There's some rings. Rings are cheap. Those are extreme rings or something like that. God, I think I bought those back in 2008. I still have them today. Over here we got a weight vest sitting there and some straps, a pair of 5-finger Vibram shoes, because sometimes training barefoot isn't a bad idea, depending on what you're working on, and well, this basement floor is cold. And finally, we'll go ahead over here. Got some adjustable dumbbells, right? And got some junk kettlebells that were at Walmart or something. I have 245 dumbbells. Those are nice, but they're not adjustable. At least these adjustable ones, they're Weeder, I think is the brand. Those are great. You can change the weights. No need to buy an entire rack of dumbbells. You can just use your hands and unscrew these things and then screw them back on again. Or you could spend thousands on a whole rack of dumbbells. We're not done yet, though, because I'm getting to the good stuff last. Okay? Got a Bowflex. Yeah. Someone was getting rid of it, and I was like, we'll take it. Okay? It's okay. It does what it does. It's great for rehab type stuff. Do I think that Bowflex is the best way for people to train? Probably not, but you know what? People like using cables and stuff. And for me, my knee was bothering me. I had patellar tendonitis. And my physical therapist told me, you do need to, this is a weird thing. Apparently, there's a podcast out there. It's Never the Quads Until It's the Quads or something like that. I feel like that might be Quinn Hennick. But my physical therapist told me, you need to listen to this clinical athlete thing. It's Never the Quads Until It's the Quads or something, I think is the name of the title. And he told me, you're the rare person who actually needs to do some leg extensions because you squat so much. So because I squat frequently, I started developing a little bit of tendonitis. And sure enough, I don't have any way of doing leg extensions. So we picked up a Bowflex that people were getting rid of. And it's fantastic. I do my leg extensions, the tendonitis went away. Still not done yet. Here we go. Ready? This is the good stuff. Oh, check that out. Got the squat rack from Rogue. It was the cheapest one that they had, which is why we picked it. And I had the bumper plates already. I've had those same bumper plates for I don't know how long. And the same with the bars. I've got a couple bars. One of them was given to me by Glenn Penley. He literally just gave me a bar, which was one of the nicest things that anyone's ever done for me. I told him I couldn't afford to buy a barbell, and that I was moving back to Pittsburgh, and Glenn sent me a barbell. That's kind of sad. Glenn was a really good person, and it's unfortunate that he's passed away. Anyways, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but we have some old bumper plates and some bands. Those are, I think, Elite FCS bands, and they're great. Okay. So how much equipment down here is worth X amount of dollars? Well, the Bowflex is worth nothing. It's broken. The Airdyne was something someone was throwing out that didn't cost anything either. Those Weider dumbbells, I don't remember what those cost, but probably less than $100. The Bowflex, again, something someone was getting rid of. You can tell me to use Bowflex, and you can tell me what you guys think it's worth, but I doubt anyone would pay me even $200 for it. The squat rack, the Rogue rack is probably the most expensive thing I have in this basement as far as things that we actually had to pay for, and I don't even remember what that cost. And as far as the barbells, those are things I've had for so long I don't actually even remember what I spent on them. And the good barbell I have is my Penley barbell, which was given to me by Glenn, and of course the bumper plates. So what would you say? Maybe there's $1,000 worth of money actually invested into, the rings, I forgot the rings. Maybe $1,000 worth of actual money invested into my home gym. So how can I claim that it's a multi-million-dollar gym or that it's worth millions of dollars? And that's the part that I really want to share with you, because you guys can all have one too, especially in this day and age. It's not about the equipment. Not at all. It's about what you do with it. It's about what you know. I probably have spent more money on books than I ever have on equipment. Like easily. I have so many books, it's not even funny. Like NSCA sports science book, the most recent one with Duncan French. I have practical programming, starting strength. Like if you can think of a book, I probably have it. Triphasic training. Like there's just it's weird that I'm drawing a blank on naming books because it's so hard to stop and think about which ones I have and don't have. But it's like, I've got super training and training of the weightlifter, and like anything that Louis recommended, I bought it. Anything that Dave Tate recommended, I bought it. Like I bought so many books over the years. It's just, that's where the real value is in all these different books that I read. I have read books on literally everything you can possibly think of when it comes to training. I have Brad Schoenfeld's books. I have Lou Schuller's books. Venuto's Build Muscle and Burn the Fat, or whatever it is. I have those. Like anything by Ripito, I have it. Anything by Lon Kilgore, Andy Baker. Like if you can name a book, I probably have it somewhere. And then especially today, with all these wonderful PDFs and EPUBs and all this stuff like that, dude, you guys can get these things so cheap. Back whenever I first started getting into this stuff, I remember buying books that came and they had like a spiral. It's not really spiral bound. It's like some kind of plastic thing. So it's not a spiral. but they were bound with like this plastic ring thing on the back, right? And you had to be like super gentle with those things because the pages would tear super easy, and sometimes I had to buy books that only came in hardcover, Pavel's books or Dan John's books, some of the stuff that I used to buy, you know, these books were fantastic though, Ultimate Athlete Concepts, Joseph Johnson, check that out. Like there's a ton of great books. There's so many good books. And that's what makes this a multi-million-dollar gym. It's because of the fact that there's enough stuff here to keep you busy forever if you know what you're doing. And if you have books and you have time to read them, now you've expanded your arsenal, okay? I remember my brother and I used to train. We didn't have a squat rack. We were so excited to have a barbell and some plates. Neither of us knew how to do a proper clean, let alone a proper power clean, but we would power clean the bar, right? Whatever was on the bar, you power cleaned it, and then you popped it overhead and brought it back down on your back, and then you just squatted it for as many reps as you possibly could, okay? This meant doing things like, 155 pounds for sets of 50, and you might do 5-6 sets of 50. That's a ton of volume. Think about how many practice reps you got, though. Like, that's something that people really don't appreciate. Everyone wants to go straight to 5x5, and that's great too. I'm not anti 5x5. I think 5x5 is wonderful, but if you're a beginner, those really high volume sets are a great way for you to learn how to move. Like, that's it. Like, learn how to move. If you're learning the squat, you need reps. We say this about anything else. Everything is repetition, practice, 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 right? That's what you hear all the time. You sit there and you practice your free throws for hours, or, if you're a musician, you practice your skills over and over and over again. But like, why don't we take that approach to things like deadlifts? Why don't we take that approach to presses? Why don't we take that approach to squats? No, come in, do your 5x5 and you're done. Okay. I realized that the training that we did was not optimal, but certainly kick the shit out of anybody who wasn't training. I'd rather be doing 5 sets of 50 with a very sub-maximal weight than not doing anything at all. And in fact, actually, I would argue that doing 5 sets of 50 with a sub-maximal weight even beats doing 1,000 air squats, because you learn how to hold a barbell on your back in a way that you could continually hold it there. If you have a position that you can't hold for a long period of time, how do you plan on holding something truly heavy? If you can't comfortably hold 135 pounds on your back long enough to do 50 reps, how do you plan on holding 315 pounds on your back even long enough to do 5 reps? You have to find that ability to support the barbell on your back properly so that you can do the reps that you want to do. If you have a really shitty bar position and you're trying to squat 1,000 pounds, you're screwed before you even start. Just unracking it and walking it out. So that's off on a tangent there, but the point being that you can see, even with very limited equipment, you can do a ton of work. You could have one dumbbell, you could have one kettlebell and do a ton of work if you know what you're doing. Plyometrics, all kinds of jumping, all kinds of single leg movements and single arm movements. The body is very dynamic. You guys can do your Turkish get-ups. You can do, any number of variations of single leg RDLs. I'm talking about a one dumbbell workout here. Single leg RDLs, single leg squats. You can do Bulgarian split squats. Everyone likes to put Bulgarian in the front. It's really just a split squat, but whatever. It sounds hardcore if you call it Bulgarian, just like Bulgarian training. If you think about these things, though, you have the ability to do almost an endless number of different movements with very minimal equipment. You don't need to have the latest hammer strength. It's great if you can. I would love to have one. If Hammer sees me and watches this video, please send me a free one. The eccentric stuff, those flywheel training things, I would love to have one. If you want to send me a free one, I will gladly take it, and I will shoot videos and tell people how wonderful and how much I love this thing. I can't afford it, but I'd love to have one. For any of you guys out there that have a reverse hyper or a GHD that you want to get rid of, send it my way. I'll gladly take it. I don't care. You're sitting there going, oh gosh, I don't have room for this. I don't care what it is. I don't have room for this Roman chair anymore. I'll take it. Okay? But that doesn't mean that I can't still do good mornings and RDLs. So, like, I'm not missing out on hamstring and glute and back work just because I don't have extra pieces of equipment. I'd love to have that equipment. Can't afford it. So I have to use other methods. And I don't think you're going to get weaker by doing barbell work. Is it optimal? No, probably not. There's probably some piece of equipment out there that would make my life so much easier and better. But the reality is that if you're willing to put in the effort, you're willing to do the work, you really, guys, you just need a minimal amount of equipment here. Get yourself a dumbbell, get yourself adjustable dumbbells, get yourself a barbell, and I would tell you get some bumper plates instead of getting metal plates, and here's why: your floor. If it's a home gym, your floor. Otherwise, you go ahead and get the metal plates, especially if you have a power rack. If you have a power rack, go ahead and get metal plates because you can at least put the safety pins in and then prevent things from slamming onto your floor. We didn't get the safety arms for the Rogue squat rack until much later. At the time, all we purchased was the squat rack itself. It was only much later that we got the safety arms. My point being, though, okay, coming back around to that really important part, because I'm telling you why you don't need equipment. The reason why you don't need a ton of equipment is not because equipment isn't nice. I love equipment. Everyone loves equipment. Send me a C2 rower. Shout out to C2. Rogue, send me an Echo bike. I'd love it. Just mail me one. I'll make sure that I feature it in videos. Hell, I'll sit on it while I do videos. The thing is, if you read, especially with all the stuff that's out there for free even, you guys can learn so much. There's shit that I read that I'll never use. Like Franz Bosch, you'll never see me doing single leg snatches onto a box. But there's other movements in there that were valuable. And, I'll go on to say that, the shock method, right? 1x20, Dr. Yesus. These things are very effective. You guys don't need a ton of equipment. You can do depth jumps, holy hell. The amount of stuff you can accomplish with jumping is just amazing. I feel like that's a really undervalued thing. Even plyometrics in general, people, I don't know why. I don't know why more people don't utilize them. I don't know why more people don't use them when they know about them. My point being, though, okay, is that just like me, you probably can't afford a $300,000 gym. At least I assume you can. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the majority of people who watch my channel have, $500,000 gyms in their house. But I can't. And therefore, I try to make this point to people that what you can do is you can maximize your knowledge. And so I would put my barbell up against anyone else's barbell, and I would ask you, how much do you know about training? And maybe you know more than me. You're probably not watching my channel if you do, though. I'm sure that there are people out there who do watch my channel who know more than me. But as a whole, I would say that probably the majority of really successful coaches are not sitting around watching my channel because they're out there already coaching. Cal Dietz is not turning to Chad and going, hey, I wonder if he does sub-maximal eccentrics or super maximal eccentrics. Like, I guarantee Cal's not watching my channel. If he is, though, go ahead and comment down below, Cal. I just wanted to say hi. RPR is pretty cool, huh? Douglas heel be activated, turned into something you can do for yourself. That's a clever way to do that now. I think it's great that people are able to do it for themselves instead of having to go to practitioners. It's kind of like all this self-myofascial release stuff. Instead of going out and getting a massage, now you can take a tennis ball and just grind the hell out of your calf until your calf feels better instead of paying someone to push on your calf. Works great for people like me who can't afford $100 an hour for a massage therapist. So, there you guys have it. That's my multi-million-dollar gym. But what I'm telling you is that you can have a multi-million-dollar gym too, because it's actually what you got up here. Okay. If you got time to watch my videos, you had time to watch another video, you had time to read something, you could have learned something, and I really feel that that is the key to everything. You can make so much progress with nothing but a barbell and a couple squat stands. Um, you know, it's just people don't realize like the limiting factor is you and your creativity. That's really it. You know, you can take a tennis ball, cut a tennis ball, you know, about halfway through, and you can put that on the end of a barbell. Okay? If you can picture what I'm talking about, you're just going to make an incision in the tennis ball and then squeeze it so it opens up. Put that on the end of your barbell. Suddenly now you have a landmine. Oh, yeah, you don't have to buy a landmine attachment. You can take that tennis ball, put it on the end of the barbell, and now you can safely have that barbell and move it around like it's a landmine attachment. These are simple things. I mean, a thing of tennis balls at Walmart costs less than $2 for 3 of them. So like it literally cost you less than $1 for a tennis ball. And if you don't have a tennis ball and you can't afford $2 for tennis balls, steal one from your dog. They won't notice, and they love you anyways, because you feed them. So there you guys have it. I do plan on making more videos talking specifically about all the different stuff you can do with very, very minimal equipment, because I feel like there isn't enough out there for people that have... There's a ton of bodyweight stuff out there, right? With the whole pandemic thing, everyone started shooting videos of how to train at home, bodyweight only. And that's cool. But I think a lot of people have at least some bands or a dumbbell, a kettlebell, right? So, like, be creative. And if you have any really cool creative channels that you guys follow, or that you have creative exercises that you yourself invented, comment below. I'll check it out, man. I'm always interested in learning new things. You know, I'm constantly watching, you know, some person who came up with some different way of doing things. You know, even if it's just a tweak on an old exercise. You know, you don't have to have a slant board. You don't have to have all these really nice things that people spend money on. Sometimes it's just a matter of you being creative enough to do squats where you, you know, get up on your toes. Like, you can hold that position. You can do, like, you know, they call them deep knee bends. Look it up. They used to be called deep knee bends. You can do all kinds of variations, and it's, like I said, the limitation is your creativity and your knowledge. Because if you guys take the time to read, and like I said, there's tons of free stuff out there, and there's also tons of ebooks that are super unbelievably cheap. I used to actually have to buy real books and wait for it to come in the mail. I don't have to do that anymore. One click, and I buy something on Kindle or whatever. It costs $1. Like, there's a ton of stuff on Amazon that literally costs $1. And like, that $1 book will keep you busy because it's probably at least 100 pages. And then you get to go experiment with that stuff and decide if it works for you. Then you go buy another book for $1. So that's really what comes down to whether or not your gym is worth anything. Because you could have $500,000 worth of equipment, and I think your gym is worth $1. It's like Louis, what did he say? Something like $200 shoes and a $3 squat or something like that. Yeah, like, you can have $200 shoes and a $1 squat. So you can have a $5,000 whatever piece of equipment it is. You can have a $500,000 equipment budget, and you could still have a $1 gym because you don't know how to use it.